There we go, found it. Awesome. Cool. Hello, welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Program Science Mode, Part 39. Even more Moho, because seriously, Moho is taking so long. Like, how many hours have I done? Like, prepping for Moho and Undraz and, like, doing the actual mission. Yeah, anyway, let's get right to it. So we have some other things flying on our way to Moho at the moment, in the hope that we can complete our full-on Moho landing, etc. And get enough fuel to come back. So we'll go straight to the tracking station. Okay, I keep forgetting that I can just do this from here. So looks like we've got, so we've got a bunch of science lab. All of these science labs are happening in the midst of this. So I will. Oh yeah, I disabled the. Yeah, I went through these and I turned off the message, didn't I? Yeah. Again, science lab. Yeah, these should just hopefully. They should just go off. They should just go off silently, and then we can loop around them when they're past. So, if we just jump to Moho Scannersat, take 2. Yeah, which one? This one. So yeah. Cool. Right. So yeah, we have 26.2 second burn, which is a little bit longer. Yeah, 10-second burn's a lot more like it. And then yeah, we can. It's 8 days, 5 hours. We will get rid of this because we don't want this to screw with us. So yeah, we will point where we want to point. And we will point where we're going to point at our maneuver node, and then we do our burn in. Let's just double check to make sure that our intercept is still what we wanted it to be. If we focus your Moho for a second, make sure that. Yeah, that's pretty much what we want. And we can set up our hopefully set up our capture of Moho, which I'm thinking, like, because these things tend to take quite long burns, and at the moment I've been trying to do it around like a single burn around the periapsis. I'm wondering if I set up maneuvers on the approach to like slow us down gradually, so that we're close to capturing by the time we get to the periapsis. I'm wondering if that's going to be feasible, and if we're going to have issues if multiple things are arriving at close times. Because in theory, like, this is periapsis here, 99 days, 3 hours, 36. So it takes about, so presumably it's going to take about the same amount of time, because this should be like a hyperbola, I think. So it should take the same amount of time to get from encounter to periapsis. So it's going to take about an hour. So hopefully, yeah, we should be fine. But anyway, let's go and do this buoying. And then hopefully we're not going to cause any damage when we actually do stage later on. But we still have 900 meters per second of this. So without any further ado, let's time warp to our maneuver. I should go down to about a minute. Yep, minute to start burn. Again, this is going to be arriving, like, hopefully quite before the other one does. So Hopefully we should be okay. But again, we should hopefully have enough delta V to actually get the job done this time. 30 seconds to go. Let's whip that down to about 10. 6, 5 seconds. 2, 1, and initiate. Switch to map mode and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And Christmas, can we? A little bit over, but that is fine. I guess we can. Yeah, it'd be fine. So, let's go and see if I can find the. This might be a thing where I just like starts. Yeah, okay. There isn't a maneuver node to hit because we're pretty much. It's not perfect, but again, we can adjust it when we get into orbit. So, 90 days to periapsis, and let's see how long a burn this is going to take to capture, if not circularize entirely, because it might be quite a long burn. So 42-minute burn. That's to circular. That's not capturing though. Like to capture at all. Again, 42 minutes is a lot of minutes. Okay, so that's yeah, about 40 minutes of burn time, which presumably is going to be the majority of this. So obviously, like, we want to see if we can do this in sections. So like maybe try breaking into 10-minute burns, maybe. So yeah, so we try like a 10-minute deceleration. Like so we'll try a 10-minute deceleration like here, such that like such that hopefully we're not starting the burn before we enter Moho's sphere of influence. So question is, can we find where that actual intercept occurs? There. Right, so 90 days, 3 hours 25. 90 days, 3 hours and 25. So we want to go about 90 days, 3 hours and 31. 3 hours 37. 3 hours 34. 3 hours 32. 3 hours 32. So that'll maneuver here. And see what happens when we start decelerating at this point. So we want to do about 10 minutes of burn here. Because in my theory, I don't think this will affect the periapsis too much, but it will. Okay, that's 12, 11, 10:29. Okay, see. Oh wait, no. 10 minutes of burn there. So it brings our periapsis from 325 to 271. Which isn't too bad. So do that there. So hopefully that's, yes, that's 5 minutes of burning before, 5 minutes of burning after. Do like another 10-minute burn here. Oh yeah, that's you don't get the so well actually we can do it by delta V, can't we? Because 1073 again 10 minutes of, but oh yeah, hang on, we need to redo this because oh yeah. So if we go back to maneuver 1. Okay, let's redo this. Because again, 40 minutes was with the thing at like. So let's delete that. Let's see what the actual burn it was again with the actual rocket. Because the majority of it was on the chemical engine, so presumably we're going to be cutting that down considerably with not that considerably. Still 30 odd minutes. So yeah, still 34 minutes, but we can do it in like 3 10-minute burns, like 3 12-minute burns rather than a single half-hour burn. So yeah, so do it over 3 burns, so 1793.9, so about 1800 delta V. So if we do 1800 is 3 lots of 600, so if we do 3 600 delta V burns on approach, with the final one happening at periapsis. And again, they'll take about 10 minutes. So the first one won't take us long. So we have one here. Do about, was it minus 600? Okay, we could do a bit more than that. Okay, what do we? This should now be a 10-minute burn with because the timer goes up like considerably with so we're already doing like 1100 there. And if we do a maneuver here. Basically, our Parallax is again. It'd be great if we could actually see like how long this like second maneuver would take, unless it tells you. I don't think it tells you at the top in. No, that's just the next node, which is again annoying. Like I'd like to be able to do it, like see what the burn time would be for this one. I mean, again, we're doing 1100 out of 1800 here, so we have about what 11 hours. It's about 600 delta V left. So we do 400 here, and then add a maneuver here to finish the capture at least. And again, we only really care about capturing at this point. So again, these could be pretty long burns, but hopefully, again, like as long as we're doing like the least here, then we should have the most, yeah. Okay, right, so I think we'll try this. So we will add the next maneuver. You see that one's already gone, so we can do that later. We can add the next maneuver here, which will be in 98 days. So like that. Then we can switch to the fuel delivery transfer stage, and hopefully this thing will be similar. Well, hopefully this thing will be arriving not at the same time as this, but we'll find out. So we jump to this. These bad boys are already Right, so next thing up is the fuel delivery, which is in 1 day and 3 hours. So if we get rid of this, and again we'll try a similar thing of this thing. So 6-second burn, point where we want to point. Where is sun? Must be, like, in theory the sun must be over there. Very, very small burn here. So yeah, so double check, we've got rid of that. Yep, we've got rid of that alarm, so we can now fast forward. Actually, let's set up the map first, because we want to get this map set up so we can observe the change in orbit. So we focus a view on Moho, then we can hopefully observe our arrival, essentially. So yep, we've got that ready. Because again, not very big burn, this one. Yeah, 45 seconds to go. Get this down to like 15. Let's rotate around so you get a better view of what's going on. Okay, and switch to map mode, and hopefully again, I'm going to be very, very careful of this. Because ooh, so close. I'll do. So we're done with this. This is a 13-minute burn, which isn't so bad. 93 days. And 93 days till Parallax, which is good because it means that yeah, we're well clear of Moho Scannersat Take 2, which will be arriving first. So again, 2000 delta V burn. So again, I'm going to try and like do this over again 30 minutes. I mean, I could already do this over like 2 7-minute burns, I think, because yeah. So what we'll do is Yeah, so if we get rid of this for now, well, it's about 14-minute burns. So yeah, 2 7-minute burns will be the plan. So if we can figure out again where our encounter with Moho is, Moho encounter 92 days, 5 hours 41. So long as it's more than 3.5 minutes after that, we should be fine. So anything 5 hours 43 and later, or 9 hours 45 and later should be fine. So 49, there you go, add maneuver. So we'll see what decelerating by about 7 minutes will do here. So it's a 7-minute burn there. After we've done auto-saving. Again, our parallax gets reduced a little bit to 276,000 from 307, but again, not really going to complain about that. And then we do another 7-minute burn here, or like just however much it takes to, because it should be a similar amount, just enough to capture it. There we go, just enough to capture, which again is a similar amount, so that should be fine. And again, we worry about lowering orbits later on. We just want to make sure everything gets captured around Moho first of all. So we add an alarm for the next maneuver, which again 92 days, which is good. It's a good like 4-day gap between the two, which is what we want. Then these two have gone off. We'll visit these in a minute. The next thing will be Moho Lander 2, which will probably be a bit more of a So yeah, we jump to this, and we hopefully don't screw this up this time. So the plan will be our correction burn at the moment isn't going to take the rest of it. Like, we're going to have fuel left in this stage. Let's delete this because we're going to be doing this in a minute. So pointed on node. So yeah, so the plan is that again, because this burn itself is not going to be taking the rest, like all of the fuel in this stage, we will do this burn. We'll then point normal and deal with basically getting rid of the fairing and deploying the solars and the radio dish on the main transfer stage itself, so that when we're doing capture burns, we don't lose communication with the ship like we did last time and accidentally stage it. So yeah, this will be the plan. So for now, we're porting where we want to point. We're going to get the map set up again to point at Moho. Let's focus you on Moho and get ready for observe the the arrival, the planned arrival. 94 days is that? 94 days. That's fine. That's a good 2 days after that as well. That's good. Right. So yeah, I guess we've got this pointed out ready. Let's time warp to our maneuver. I mean, the idea of doing the staging of the end cap now will be that a small change in delta V here will lead to a large change in like the trajectory of the debris, so we should have no worries about it being anywhere near where we want to go. Yeah, so once we've done this, we then get this ready for the next burn, because the next burn is going to be more than what's left in the tank here, essentially. This is a nice 17-second burn, which we will not time warp past, hopefully. Right. Again, we're doing this for chemical engines, so it should be nice and be able to do this nice and precisely. Go down to the last few meters per second, switch to the map screen, and then wait for our little line to come up, and then these are quite powerful engines to be very, very careful with this. We don't want to overdo it. Okay, that'll do. So our next burn is an 18-minute burn. So I think we'll try splitting this into 3 burns. But before we do any planning, we do want to deal with basically get ourselves ready so that we are, able to do stuff. It's a 2200 delta V burn. So we're going to be about halfway through the fuel of the transfer stage by that point. And for some reason this thing thinks it's going to have no fuel in it. I have a feeling that this gets, because I guess because there aren't any engines on this thing, so it doesn't know when we'll detach it. But yeah, so what we do now is hopefully, can't quick save or anything, so let's double check that this is what we expect it to be. So this is this. Then this should be the end cap. So in theory we hit spacebar now. Get rid of that. Then these. Right, so I do also appreciate the fact that these extend, which I think is probably what got them destroyed when we I wonder if we can put these on, toggle these on automatic after they've because we want these to be retracted until actually, yeah, we don't want them to be automated. We do want them to be toggleable, so we can turn them on and off. So we can turn them off when it becomes time to stage this. So we will quickly go into we switch to the transfer stage. We edit our action groups. So custom 10 at the moment is the antenna. Oh yeah, that's for that one. Transfer stage, solar panel, antenna. Yep. About 9. 9 I usually use for engines. So what does 9 do for landers? Nothing. So let's have custom 9 be the radiators. Toggle radiator. So in theory, if we hit 9 now, we should extend them and retract them. Cool. So we can have them extended, and then when it comes time to stage, we retract them. We retract them, stage these, then extend them again after these are clear. Will be the plan. But again, only when we're jettisoning these. So we want to, actually in theory, if we hit if we hit 0 now, we should get the solar panels and the communication dish for the transfer stage. This is what we got screwed us last time. So hopefully now we are in a position to, hopefully now we're in a position to actually do the next. We'll point ourselves retrograde at the moment. Yeah, so hopefully now when we do the next maneuver and we stage this, we won't suddenly lose control of this thing, because we're going to have we now have a dish, our transfer stage dish on, and similarly we can we need to remember to when these run out of fuel, which again should be a stop swiveling. So yeah, I'm thinking if we just to make sure that this is because I mean, like, if these didn't have fuel in them, if these weren't feeding the engines, then this would have nowhere. This would have way less. So I mean, I guess we can go. This should be fine because this should this should ensure that when these actually do jettison, this is full. But again, like, we have enough delta V. It's not really going to matter, like, if this is working right. I don't think so. We should be fine. So let's go to the map screen and sort out our maneuvers. So we have an 18-minute burn at the moment, which we can do like free. It seems to think it's so again, free 6-minute burn. So we want to be again, Parallax should still be about 78 days, which is again a good time period away from the others. So we want to try and find our intercept point, which should be around here somewhere. There we go. Intercept point here. 78 days, 1 hour 43. So 78 days, 1 hour 50, let's say. 1 hour 50. Yeah, 1 hour 51. Cool. Let's add a maneuver here. Let's see what this does to our periapsis, and let's do a 6-minute retrograde burn, or like 6 minutes, or what is it? 700, I think. It's about 2,100 delta V total. Six-minute burn there. Reduce the periapsis by a little bit, but again, not really a big problem. So that's a 6-minute burn there. Add a maneuver here. Um, 700. Similar amount again, 700. We don't know how long this will take, but hopefully we should have plenty of time around this maneuver node to actually do the burn. Because again, we're pretty much traveling in a straight line, so it doesn't really matter that much. $600. 681. 700. That brings the priorities down to 197. Again, not too bad. Then we do our final burn here, which will be just a capture. So we add a maneuver here, and we just do enough to capture, which again should be another 700 meters per second burn, but hopefully that should be about 6 minutes, which should be achievable. and that yeah, that gives us a nice big big orbit. But then we can lower it down later on, because again, it seems like the amount of delta V to get from an eccentric to a low orbit is not as well. It's not as much as the actual capture delta V. So we have that going for us. So we've done this. So the next thing up is to add the maneuver node, which is in 78 days. So we add the alarm here. Cool. So we should be able to do all of these science labs, and then jump back to these things to do their captures essentially. And then hopefully the Scannersat will stage okay. That's the one thing I'm not sure of. If anything gets damaged from the staging, it should be fine, because it should just stage like directly away from stuff. But I guess there's a possibility there might be collisions. So yeah, so we've got those three set up, and then our all of our dress stuff is, you know, quite a way. This thing, we might try have some fun. We might actually, I might like send this one on a bit of a journey. Maybe I can get a Moho gravity assist or something to lower its thing down, so we end up maybe getting an Eve intercept or something. I don't know. Basically, this ain't gonna capture a Moho, so I might use this as like a test bed for some, like, attempting some like gravity assist type stuff. Since it's not going to be able to do the job. Yeah, so let's go and jump to these and sort these out before we do anything else. Cool. Here in orbit of Duna. The return window is approaching at some point soon, but hopefully, I mean, like, this probably isn't quite full. No, it isn't, because it never is. But we can delete this. We can time up a little just to feel her up. Oh, I do like the clouds. 8, 9. This should give us 500. Transmit our science. This thing might actually be, well, I'd say it might be empty. I mean, it's probably not going to be empty by the time, like, there's still probably going to be some research to do by the time we get back, but you never know. So it's probably 499 science, because it's never quite 500. No, 500. Nice. Cool. So, before we do anything else, there's 645. There's 100 space for data in that. We still have a lot of data to do. That's too much, so we keep that. That's too much. Oh yeah, so 675 is too much. So anything, that's too much. 600, still too much. Just a bit too much though. So anything below 600 is worth considering. 470. 225 is going to be too much, so 150 too much. Anything below 150 I don't think we do have. Nope. Okay, that's fine, we're still pretty full. So this now has 739 data out of it. So yeah, we add the next one, which again should be about 30 days away. Yeah, 29 days. Add that. So we're gonna be going back to this before this one even. Cool. Let's jump to ship here. Back to Moho, and I am pulling cables in my shoes. Oh, my eyes, my ears. The things I'm used to hearing rather than the things I'm used to seeing. Cool. So this is now 16 days overdue, and again, it won't be 500 because yeah, 40. It never quite gets to 500. Even though it's been like several days afterwards, it never Cool. So that's 500. We can transmit this. Pretty decent connection to Kerbal. That's potentially pretty good screenshot. I might do that actually. Right, so do this, that, and let's just screeny that. It might be a pretty good screenshot for the thumbnail. Cool. So that's that done. Before we do anything else, so we have 629 data in here. So let's see if there's anything in here we can. There's still 9 stored data in there. That's way too much. That's too much. That's still too much. That might fit. That'll fit. That won't fit. That'll fit. That won't fit. Cool. Right. So we're back up to what is it? 737. Not too bad. Add the next one again. Should be about 30 days. Yep. Of course, the downside of this is that we sync up all of our although Minmus science base will be will take a lot longer, as will KSS Intrepid, because they don't have as much data in them. So we can temporarily leave these guys behind. We'll jump to this one, and again I'll let the because we're gonna get like, let's say 72 days. We're easily gonna get like at least 2 sets of science transmissions. And whoa, careful there, buddy. Don't want to fall over. Oh wow, look how much nicer Minmus looks. Like even the flats, like there's just so much more like detail with the Parallax mod. It just looks so much better. I'm not sure you can really see it in 720p, but my resolution, my native resolution, yeah, this is good. Right, 486. Let's see if we can get that any better. Actually, do we have enough? Do we have enough power to? Probably. I don't know. Let's time up till next morning at least. Okay, we're not at any risk of missing anything else at the moment, so. Woo, slow down. Right. Boing. One of these days this thing's gonna fall over. I guess it's the downside of not having anyone in the command module. I might stick what's his name in the command module actually, just so that we have someone holding SAS, so in case when it does bounce it So I mean, again 488. I mean, oh yeah, we can't transmit science because. Okay, let's sort that out. So let's hopefully switch to this thing. We have Camfrey, our pilot, in here, and I think our pilot needs to be yeah, our pilot needs to pilot his way over to the science lab because I feel like we need him in there. So just to make it easier, and also so the science lab doesn't like tip over when it bounces, which is a possibility. So let's hit the RCS. Let's take off and head off forwards. Cool. Walk the rest of the way. If he doesn't. Problem is, if you ever take like a step, they go like way further than you actually want them to. So you have to kind of like make them sort of edge them along the ground like this. Okay. Turn your lights on so we can see what we're doing. Grab on, and let's climb all the way up, and we're probably on the we're on the wrong side. Well, that definitely does suck, doesn't it? Okay, get back up, and hopefully we can just walk under without boshing anything. Turn around, do the same again. So let's just take off, adjust our forward a little bit, and grab on. Climb all the way up and get in the command module, and that's where you're going to stay, because we want you to hold SAS, and we also want you in there for transmitting stuff, and for basically keeping command aboard this thing whilst this science. So hopefully now we can transmit our science. Awesome. So yeah, we'll transmit what we have. Keep this thing on radial out so that if it does bounce, it stays upright. And we'll just transmit what we have here. We do need to fill this thing up with more science, I think. So sending a science buggy or something will be or we can return this thing because it's got some fuel left in it. So, but we do have a lot more experiments unlocked now, so I feel like we can send like a rover or actually I was thinking of because I think we still have Bean in orbit, don't we, somewhere? Yeah, we've got Bean in orbit, and that's that's pretty reusable. I feel like we can probably like upgrade that and then land it and use that as our biome hopper for fueling the lab, essentially. Reusability is the key. So I think at some point, yeah, we'll send a mission to rendezvous that in orbit, refuel it, have an engineer on board who will then land with it. Probably send a pilot and engineer who will then like land with it, and yeah, we can always take one of the scientists with us. Would be the plan. Cool, 488 science, that's fine. In the science base, this is now done. This thing will be generating science incredibly slowly, but yeah, 400, that's going to take a year to generate 500 science now. But that is fine. Cool, so, yeah, I think we can do the rounds again. Because we can just trust this thing to kill our time warp. So let's jump back to the Pioneer. With Jeb, etc. on board. And we can hopefully do this in map view so that we don't. It gets a bit jiggly, but doesn't. Oh, you're right. That should kill our warp. Blah, 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 blah. Boop. Delete on close alarm. Do you want to set the junior lander as target? We do want to switch back out of map mode. This thing will have, yeah, nearly 500 science in it. We will time warp a bit further forward, hopefully not get killed by that one. 500 science, brilliant. Transmit, we've got a reasonable connection to the Kerbal Space Center. We've got 639 again, so seems fairly consistent, although we're going to run out of stuff we can fit in here, so we're going to have to like do, because this is basically all the science that it's going to have before it gets back to Kerbin, essentially. There we go, 499 science. Let's review the stored data. Still a lot of stored data in here. It's too much. So anything above 675 is too much. 945, 600 won't fit. 720, 600, 655, 750, 225, that'll fit. Put that in there, 150, that should fit. 375 is too much. 300 too much. 240 too much. Okay, cool, right, that's fine. Yeah, 714, so not, yeah, so we add this. It should take a little bit longer now because there's not as much data in there, so we add the alarm there. And again, it's going to go off before we hit this. So basically, yeah, it's because now there's only like 12 days between this and this. I'll basically make this not message and not kill warp. So we'll just warp straight past this to get to our maneuvers, and then like deal with this later. But in the meantime, since we only have 34 minutes for KSS Icarus, we will jump back to Moho. It's all about the science. And we will, again, this should be relatively close. We will get rid of this one. We will time warp a bit to get this up to 500. We will do our transmission. Really good connection to Kerbal from here. Cool. Review the stored data here. Again, way too much. 655 is too much. 750, 600, no, 600 won't fit either. 360 should. Cool. So again, like our, there's not as much. There's only 709 data in there now, so yeah, this will take a bit longer as well. Add the science lab alarm, 31 days. So we'll hit Intrepid, and then we will go. Well, yeah, we'll actually make this so it doesn't kill warp and doesn't message us. Just to remember to do it after it elapses. We will flip to the Intrepid, which is on its way to Dres at the moment. Sort out its science lab, and then we will go straight to do our maneuvers, to do our captures into Moho, and start lowering the Intrepid and hopefully trying to refuel it. So, what we will do is this will be, it should be nowhere near. If we just time warp and then let this thing, let this thing kill warp. Boop. Delete on close. Close alarm. Again, it's not quite 500, but again, it's not generating that much science a day, so it's going to be a couple of days. But then we can probably time before to do this. 8, 9, 500. Cool. We will transmit the science from here. Again, this thing doesn't have a lot of data in it because we haven't actually got where we're going yet. And then we should, yes, nearly done. 499 science, that's fine. Again, I don't think we don't have any data to put in here, so we will add this lab. And again, because this is going to be a while, we're going to be all the way back to Juno before this thing goes off. All the way back from Juno before this thing goes off. So we'll add this alarm. But we'll leave this as a normal one because we might want warp killing at that point. And yeah, so these guys won't kill warps, so we can do our we can do the Moho approach. So let's jump to ship and do our Moho capture with the Scannersat. So this is gonna be the fun part. So again, so long as our maneuvers are nowhere near 39 days or 41 days, we should be fine. So we delete this again. These shouldn't screw with us. So, and even if they did, they'll kill warp long before our actual maneuver node. So we'll close this for now. We point where we want to go, and this will be the moment of truth, because if anything goes wrong with the staging at this point, it'll become pretty obvious. I have a feeling the majority of Cool, right, so we've got 35 days, might as well time warp to our maneuver. And again, fingers crossed that the staging of this thing doesn't, like, destroy half the bloody satellite. It's going to take a while to time warp if it's going to do it at this speed. I guess the auto warp doesn't go to maximum. Actually, you know what, let's cancel this and let's like fast warp closer. Six days away. And then we can auto warp the rest of it, because it shouldn't take too long now. And again, yes, we'll see what happens with the so there's Moho. Again, we will do a screening before it all goes wrong, just in case. Again, these things should be generating like so much power that we should have plenty of power for what we want to do with our ion engines. But we can have the electric charge there. $30 to go. 26.3. Again, if this goes horrendously wrong, it's not the end of the world. It's a scanner satellite. It's not like, yeah, we're not gonna lose any Kerbals for this. 7, 6. So I think, yeah, the majority, like the first part of the burn's not gonna take very long at all. I don't think, although it might. Let's go, let's fizz warp this down to stage. Okay, fingers crossed. Okay. I'm guessing we lost our... Okay, right. There you are, with xenon gas. Got a little bit of a disruption from that, but again, we haven't lost any components. Although the decouple was a bit crazy, but there you go. But yeah, this is going to be quite a fairly long, lengthy burn. Should be fine. bit of path clipping never hurt anybody. Right, let's try time accelerating this so that we get it's very quiet. Like, get behind these xenon gas buses, but again, we should hopefully be yeah, our electric charge is nicely balanced because we're generating way more electricity than we actually consume. I thought I had turned yeah, I thought I'd just keep an eye on Parallax because it shouldn't go below 258. 4 minutes left. This is it's very, very peaceful. I can get behind iron engines. Right, the question is, do we actually have enough time before we have to start the next burn, considering it's going to take a while. Like, hopefully it'll not take this. Oh, we'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to actually capture, because yeah, if the next one's a ridiculously long burn, then so I thought like the TWR of 2.0 was 0.15. Okay, I thought it was 0.22, but I was obviously wrong. There's 30 seconds of burn left. We should see what the situation is when we actually finish decelerating this. Again, it should make it very nice and easy to get this burn exact, actually, because again, it doesn't really matter if you ever burn it a bit. I'll do right. So if we do this, the next one's probably going to be like 17 minutes. Okay, we've got a 17-minute burn, but we do have time to start it. So let's turn automation off and let's retract this one because again, I feel like this one is I don't like it that it's. I thought I had symmetry turned off when I added these because yeah, so it doesn't look good when it's poking through the transmitter. But yeah, we do have another 17-minute burn, which again we'd have to start for another half hour, which is good. I have a feeling the nuclear engines won't be quite this bad. But hopefully our maneuver is still relatively polar, so we're pointing the way we want to point, so we could just start this and then start fizz warping it to get 17 minutes down to what, about, well, divided by 4, about 4 minutes, so not too bad. Let's double check, so 27 minutes away. Yeah, we're still way away from the transfer stage. So might as well just do this. So let's very concerned is the it's weird because the like the burn time for the when we did the entire thing was considerably different. Like I think it must have miscalculated the thrust to weight ratio. Because I'm sure it had the TWR of like 2.22 when I designed it. I'm pretty sure. So this is obviously a lot of delta V to kill. because obviously we're coming in from such a high orbit. But where there is a will, there is a way. 4 times time warp, and just watch this thing count down. And don't really have a lot of people in chat. If someone is watching, feel free to chat, because we're looking at this thing spraying out spraying out ionized xenon gas. They do look nice. Like, I do like the look of the ion thrusters. And actually, I think this is something I saw in the news about the new Chinese space station. Has ion thrusters, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure how effective they are for like reboosting, but I guess if you're able to like run them just like continuously at low thrust, just to counteract the effect of atmospheric drag, then I guess it makes sense. Because I mean, the point is like they're super efficient. But again, they have really low TWR. But then maybe you don't need that much TWR to reboost your space station. But yeah, I think it's cool, and they do look awesome. Like they do look like space tech, like futuristic space tech, like the whole like the blue light with the ionizing, well not the ion like recombination stuff. It's very interesting how they work. It's basically about using electrostatics, I think, to accelerate ions, and because you can accelerate them a lot faster, and the efficiency of your rocket engine is based on it's based on in part on the velocity of your of the gas you're ejecting. So if you can eject the gas or eject your propellant with very high velocity, then your rocket is very efficient. But if your propellant isn't very massive, like in terms of its particles, then because essentially like the thrust to weight ratio is to do with the mass of, well, the momentum of what you're chucking out the back of your rocket, because Newton's laws of equal and opposite reaction. Whereas the actual efficiency is to do with the speed at which you're throwing that mass out. So if you throw like ping pong balls really, really fast, then you'll get, for the mass of ping pong balls that you're carrying with you, you'll get more overall delta V. But if you were to take fewer bowling balls and throw them slower, each bowling ball that you threw would give you more of a kick, but you'd have to carry a lot more weight in bowling balls to get the same amount of delta V, basically. I think, like, this is off the top of my head based on watching Scott Manley videos. So if you want, like, decent, like, researched, like, rocket science by a guy who knows what the hell he's talking about, Scott Manley, definitely worth watching. And others sort of like Kerbal streamers who also know more what we're talking about. I like rockets. I find them interesting. I find space stuff interesting, but and technically I did do a physics degree and I did study astrophysics, but I was not very good at it. Like, I consider myself a qualitative physicist in that I enjoy all the concepts and stuff, and I can kind of grasp the overall stuff, but I was never very good at the math, or at least I never really applied myself. That was my biggest mistake in university, was not having a work ethic, and it cost me. Alright, we're coming up on 30 seconds to end of burn. And we're going to have a similarly long heart-to-heart in a probably, because I think the next burn's about similar length, so it's so peaceful. Like, there's no like roar of chemicals reacting or nuclear engines expelling propellant. It's just chill. Like, it's a shame you can't like get ion engines to fix to have better thrust to weight ratio. Maybe there's a way you can, but they're just a bit too exotic at the moment. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop! 12 minutes, that's not so bad. Hopefully that shouldn't have affected our parallaxes too much. Okay, let's adjust this slightly so it's actually at parallaxes. And we do still capture, which is good. And I'm assuming our debris, which is currently not being displayed. Yeah, our debris our debris is shooting off somewhere else, which is fine. We don't really care much about it. Yeah, so 12 minutes. This is going to be about 3 minutes. This is going to be what, 3 minutes by the time we start accelerating it. So again, we don't even matter too much if we ever burn this because we're only going to be reducing our apoapses, so no biggie. And then yeah, cool. So let's pointing where we want to point. Double check that we are still going roughly over the pole, which I think we are doing. Good times. At the moment, our resulting orbit will be somewhat different, but we're not going that way, so let's point at our let's go back to the main screen and let's go and do this one. So yeah, 1 hour 12 minutes again. We're fine. So let's just time warp up to and have Moho zip up below us. We start our burn here, and ooh wow, this thing's suddenly getting hot. That's right, suddenly got. It's going down though. I have a feeling maybe it overcompensated or something. Nothing else is let's see what happens. I mean, in theory it shouldn't be too different. Like, we haven't got that much closer to the sun in the last like hour, so presumably like the external environment is not too bad. And I think electric engines don't tend to get, like, these ion thrusters don't tend to get that hot, but I mean it's cooling down, so I have a feeling it was I was hovering around that. But again, ion engines work because like ion engines have like massive electricity demands, which are okay around Moho because our solar panels are generating so much more electricity than we actually need. But we will fizz warp because we've got 12 minutes of burn time, and then hopefully this will not reduce our. So in theory, our periapsis shouldn't go below 163.2. But obviously that is a possibility. Because yeah, we're not doing this burn perfectly around. We're not creating this impulse in an instant at the burn at the node. Like, we are like spreading this burn out. Say burn. We're spreading the, well, it is still a burn, I think. Even though we're not technically burning anything. I mean, like, nuclear engines don't technically burn anything either. They just sort of vaporize stuff. But again, it's so chill. Like, so I'm guessing that there are like, you could have like an ion engine that had like heavier ions, but I mean, I think there are like of the noble gases, there's not really a lot you can there's not really a lot of options, I think, for ionized gas. And I'm guessing like the heavier your propellant, the heavier your propellant, the more electric field you'd need to accelerate at the same amount. So the more power requirement you'd have. As we pass over the top of Moho, let's might as well do a little screeny of this. Lots of screenies to choose from. And again, we've got so much delta V. I don't think we'll be able to go into Planetary with these engines, but at least we're not, you know, hopefully going to be capturing at some point. So we need to just slow down enough so we end up in an orbit. Certainly past our Parallaxes now, but that's capture. And we're down to 30 seconds. 20 seconds to go. Again, we've captured. We have an apoapsis, so we can lower our apoapsis over subsequent orbits if we want to. Five, 3, 2, 1, and that'll do. We are hopefully now in an orbit. There you go. Bit eccentric, but I'm hoping it is roughly polar. What was our inclination is 92. We can correct that though. But no, we are captured, so we don't need to worry too much about this. We can sort this out later when everything else has arrived, because at the moment our orbital period is 2 days. Well, it's 4 days. So by the time we're back at our next periapsis, in theory, this thing should be on its way in. So without further ado, we will switch to this one and do the same with this. So again, multiple burns. Hopefully this should be well, it'll be a lot louder for one thing, because we're doing nukes rather than anything else. But I mean that sort of system seems to work. So yeah, we do want to delete this alarm. Again, this shouldn't interfere with us too much. Again, it took about a few hours for the we want to point 3 days away from Moho. I wonder if can we see Moho yet? Don't think we can, but either way. Remember where the communication dish for this thing is. I'm sure I put it somewhere. Is that it? Oh no, I put it on the outside, didn't I? Again, shouldn't be an issue because we're going to be able to do this on like on the current stage. And then we'll find out if the if our crazy staging plan will actually work. But yeah, so we've deleted that node, so we should just be able to time warp up to it and I'll do our initial burn. There's Moho. Here it comes. Whoop. 2, 1. Yeah, so the ambient temperature around here is like 300 degrees Kelvin because of just proximity to the sun. Again, never enough screenings. Oh yeah, we can time warp this to make it a bit faster. Or even fizz warp it. Otherwise it's going to be here all day. At the risk of invoking Kraken attacks. Up on 30 seconds. Try to do this precisely, but again, like, we're not too worried about it being about overburning it that much. 3, 2, slow down. Settle do. So our next one is in an hour and 13. It's a 6 minute 53 second burn. Which will be pointing in this direction. Oh yeah, we're doing. I think this is a 2 burn job, isn't it? Parallax is here. Still pretty high up. We should be fine. Cool. I guess we can just go straight for the next maneuver then, because this is a 2 maneuver burn. There is our Scannersat. Yeah. So I guess we'll do that then. So pointing where we want to point, we will try time warping up to our actual capture burn itself. Hopefully not freak out too much if the radiators all start screaming. But they seem fine. Again, hopefully we'll be docking this thing, and then we can retract all of these radiators. Try the decouple, which again, these should hopefully launch everything away safely from the ship. Start our burn in 15 seconds. Three, 2, 1. This on so we can keep an eye on when we actually get an apoapsis. It's probably working in our favour that we're doing this capture in Moho's shadow actually, because it's a lot cooler in Moho's shadow than it is. Alright, coming up on 30 seconds left. Let's keep it on apoapsis until it becomes a positive number. There we go. Again, not a big deal if we overburn it, because yeah, we're not at risk of really at risk of crashing into the planet, because we're still got a very high orbit. But again, it'll do. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep whirling around. We can lower orbit later. Again, we have like a 3-day. We have a This is a 7-day orbit at the moment. Again, not too fussed about that, because our lander is the next one, which is in just over a day's time. So again, we are in orbit. We will switch to Moho Lander 2. Oh wow, we're only 14 days from an Eve transfer window. Definitely feel like we should send some satellites to Eve, just some ComSat or something. Alright, so again, hoping this works this time. So when we do actually stage this time, we should maintain communication with Kerbal, which we will be staging for our first burn. We will kill this, kill that. 1 day, 1 hour, so in theory, well, it's a point where we want to point, because we should have to be pointing roughly directly away from Moho. And again, this should be so Moho is presumably over there somewhere. There it is. There's Moho. There's the Ho of Mo. That's a 6-minute burn number 1. yeah, and hopefully again staging won't. So yeah, let's just double check our staging. So first, so this is our current stage. The next stage is our nuclear engines, and this all hopefully continues on its way, eating itself out of the Moho system. Oh yeah, the TWR is based on. It's based on. Yeah, well, it's based on the weight of the planet, isn't it? So yeah, it's different for different. So I might have been looking at the No, because I should have been looking at the TWR for Moho. Yeah, I don't know why it was. Oh, so I don't know why it was different for the It might have been. I might have been looking at the TWR around Kerbal or something. Which, again, you'd think of the TWR because the weight will be lower around a smaller planet. So you'd expect the TWR to be higher in that case. Anyway, let's go 1 day 1 hour. Double check we're going to get screwed by warp kill, which we shouldn't do. And let's time warp to our first maneuver node, which is where here comes Moho. So yeah, this is a 6-minute burn, which will involve a stage. So again, hopefully this goes all right. And again, we should do the rest of the burn on the on the next stage, so we should be fine. 2, 1. Okay. So this is where it went badly last time. Although actually we weren't anywhere near Moho when it went badly. So. That's slightly concerning. I think that's probably because of the gimbal on the engines. Right, let's see if this works. So, stage. We still have control. Might as well take a picture of that. Slightly different angle. Right, so. Goodbye, chemical engine stage. Have fun on your way out to solar orbit. And we don't hit the stage burn again. Oh wow, we've got way more. Oh, I see. It's figured it out now. So yeah, we've got loads of delta V in this thing. Should be able to fully refuel the hopefully fully refuel the mothership from this. Even though it's gonna have like some new tanks attached to it anyway. Let's try. I think the engine gimbal from that was because the control point was so far from the engine gimbal. I think it was causing issues. So the engines were gimbaling, or over gimbaling. I think can happen with especially with a long craft, when the control point and the actual like attitude control are far enough away from each other, they end up being out of sync. It's the last 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go. So this is hopefully what should have happened with the first one. If I hadn't hit the bloody spacebar and got rid of all the fuel. update. So the next one should hopefully be another, yeah, about a 6-minute burn in 24 minutes time. We can just double check to make sure that this has that, and this should still be full. Yep, cool. That's what I was expecting to happen. Cool. All still looking good. Right, so our next burn. Let's double check our maneuver nodes, because yeah, they're the final. Like, so long as our burns end up with us in an orbit, we can adjust the final periapsis, the final capture burn, after we've done this one. So again, we've got 24 minutes for that burn, so we can point at our maneuver target. Again, double check, but again, I think the next thing is 13. It's like 2 weeks away, so which again we'll want to. Yeah, we want to send something. I think either if it's just Comnet, or like a probe or something, just to say hello, Eve. We do care about you, but at the moment we are somewhat committed to our manned missions or our Kerbal missions elsewhere. So we are currently at 20 to 9, coming up 20 to 9. So let's finish. Let's get this sorted out. I think first off, what we can do is we can orchestrate the docking with this lander, because this like we're definitely going to want to dock with a lander. Yeah, if we want to refuel everything. And I think we can refuel the mothership fully from the lander alone. Then we can undock the lander, deorbit, stage everything. Seven. We're holding attitude steady, so let's speed this up. Now, yeah, we're going to be reducing our parallax a fair bit with this, but I don't mind. Hopefully going okay so far. No stupid mistakes on my part, which is good. Only cost what, like 6 hours of you watching me play this game to fix this mess. God knows what I've done if we had Kerbal. I guess if we had Kerbalism, we'd just try and get them back, but. "30 seconds to go." That'll do. Right, we need to do this. Another 6-minute burn, but we need to adjust it slightly because it won't be quite. It's probably not going to be quite at the periapsis. Actually, it's not far off. Where is the? That's fine. That's pretty. That's close enough, I think. Don't think I'd get that any closer. No, no, no. Again, it's like within a few seconds of the periapsis. I think that's probably close enough. The spaceship finna pull the ejector seat on the poor Kerbals. Hi JW987. Hopefully not going to pull the ejector seat on the poor Kerbals. There aren't any Kerbals in this. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the excitement that is getting a lander to Moho without fucking it up. There is already a Moho lander in orbit around Moho, but it doesn't have enough fuel on it because on the way there, I accidentally got rid of all these when they still had like full of fuel. But anyway, so without further ado, that's the point where we want to point. I'm pretty happy with the next maneuver. So let's have Moho like race towards us. We can start. Yeah, the Kerbals are in another ship, which is currently in a very eccentric orbit around Moho. But we have this thing, which has got loads of fuel in it, so hopefully we can transfer the fuel when we get there, when they eventually dock. We've got another ship which has a load of fuel in it and some fuel tanks to dock to the main ship, so hopefully we have enough fuel to get back. Yeah, should be fine, hopefully. And it's just a shipbuilding and crash landing on the Mun. So crash landing on the Mun. Let me just deal with this. Let me just get this burn started before I reply. Once the burn's going, I should just keep an eye on the timer. Hopefully not overburn it too much. Again, like we're just burning to capture, so overburning won't be a problem. 3, 2, 1, and kick it off. Cool. It's a shipbuilding crash landing on the Mun. So, shipbuilding. So, like the basics of building a rocket in Kerbal Space Program is build it backwards. So you if you're doing a return mission to the Mun, or if you're just crashing on the Mun, then you want to build the thing that's going to crash on the Mun first. Then build something that will get it from that has enough delta V to get it from low Kerbal orbit to Munar orbit and to capture in Munar orbit. Then you build something to get that whole thing into Kerbal orbit, and that's basically how you do it. So if you're doing like a return mission from the Mun, then like the first thing if you're doing like say the Apollo, for example, the first thing you'd do is like you'd set up like the return capsule that's going to like re-enter through Earth through the atmosphere. That's like that's the first thing, and then you need to get that like from the Moon back to Earth. So you build something that will get it from the Moon, like you build something that has enough delta V to get that thing from the Moon back to Earth or back to Kerbin. Then I suppose if you're doing it Apollo style, then you have an additional complication of having a separate lander, etc. So if you say do like a direct descent instead, so if you want to say you want to crash on the Moon, and if you want to crash on the Moon, and you don't really care about like landing so much, then the other thing you need, you just need to build something that has enough delta V to get an intercept with the Moon, and make that intercept a collision course. I'll be right back. No worries. Whilst you're away, I will speed this up so that hopefully we can go into Viz Warp so that we can finish this burn a bit quicker. But yeah, there are lots of actually, if you presume you're away from keyboard, let me know when you get back, and I'll do the thing and recommend like YouTube tutorials, etc. I don't think of myself that much as a good teacher. There's quite a steep learning curve to rocket design, which a lot of trial and error is encouraged. I feel like trying it and seeing what doesn't work and then figuring out why what doesn't work is something that you can do in Kerbal with reckless abandon. Like if you do a science mode, or if you do, or like even if you're doing like career mode or something, and you have quick saves, etc. Then like just try shit, and if it doesn't work, then you revert and you try something else. So yeah, check your staging, add fins. Those are the basics. We still don't have. Although again, this burn should be just enough. There we have. We have capture. There we go. We are in an orbit, and we have not lost our. We have not lost our fuel. We still have about 4,000 delta V of fuel left, which is good. And they're all roughly about the same plane, which is good. Because we're going to be trying to do orbital rendezvous at some point. So this is our other lander, which will serve a purpose. We will crash it into the surface of, or even might try land it on the surface of Moho, because I don't think it has enough delta V. Like it doesn't have. I think technically it doesn't have enough. Like it might be able to do it on a really efficient landing descent profile, but I don't think it has enough delta V to actually land. So I don't want to put Kerbals in it and find out. But yeah, so all of these things are now in orbit around Moho. We do have the Icarus. So I do want to get this thing into again like a similar lander. This should be Moho lander 2, yeah. We must recreate another happy landing scene from the Revenge of the Sith, but with a flying half a ship right before it. Okay. That sounds like fun. I mean, I guess you sort of like you build some. Like I'd say, if you want them to survive, then it's probably going to be a case of like a lot of quick saving and quick loading, and just like accepting the save where the command pod with the Kerbals in it doesn't get destroyed in the litho braking maneuver. Alternatively, one possibility is if you have the grip pads. So this one does, because I've built my own kind of like landing struts. So these grip pads have like, I think they'll have like a 50 meter per second impact tolerance. Like these things can take a wallop. So maybe if you do like kind of, I guess if you imagine like, kind of like like the SpaceX Starship design has like the bottom of the thing covered in like thermal protection tiles. Like maybe if you have no DLC in this on console. Okay. I don't know if the grip pads are DLC content or not. If check to see if they're stock. But if they are stock, then maybe if you cover the entire like bottom half of your of the half of the ship that you want to land with, in those, maybe you can land like slow enough. Like maybe if you can land like if you can get your like speed down to less than 50 meters per second, then maybe enough of it will survive. I make no guarantees. Like bear in mind that if you're litho braking at any speed, you're at the mercy of the Kraken, or you're at the mercy of the physics. In terms of like having it like break in half on the descent, that should be easily doable with a bunch of decouplers, and you can even have some like SRBs or something to sort of like make sure they separate. So that shouldn't be too difficult. And then the thing will be getting that big ship, and I mean bear in mind like that so like that back half of the ship can have your fuel in it for getting from low carbon orbit to the Mun, and then doing your deorbit burn. Once you've done the deorbit burn, you can then jettison that, fly your half ship, and then try and sort of safely crash land it on the surface. Again, I recommend quick save and quick load in copious quantities. Unless you're doing it on hard mode, in which case, God help you. But yeah, console. Yeah, I've only ever played on PC. I remember watching something Matt Lown normally plays PC, but he played console whilst his hand was recovering. And his videos, he definitely found it a lot more difficult. I imagine it's yeah, the benefit of keyboard and mouse controls. Like I said, I mean, is the you don't have to jettison ship parts, I'm big dum dum. Okay, so in terms of jettisoning ship parts, one of the basic principles behind multi-stage rockets is the idea of different stages. And the thing that sort of like separates stages, things called decouplers. There are some radial ones here, for example. This one I'm highlighting at the moment, that's the radial decoupler. So essentially the idea is that when you want it to, these things basically like jettison things attached with these radial fuel tanks, so these will eventually fly off. You also have this one is I think, which one is it I'm looking at? This is a DLC part, but it's basically a kind of decoupler, of like a stack decoupler, which when they go. So if you attach a bunch of like stacked decouplers and make sure they're in the same stage, and then attach the back of your ship to the back half of your ship to those decouplers, then if you make sure the staging is right, then when you hit stage, the back half of the ship will fly off, or will detach essentially. It does sound like fun, like recreating various Star Wars. Bear in mind, like Star Wars does not use orbital mechanics that much, so but it would be possible. You'd even do on re-entry into Kerbal if you wanted to. I just get it into orbit and then deorbit it, and then you've got all the atmospheric like plasma, re-entry plasma going on, and then you can detach the back half of the ship and then try and land it. That'd be even like more like try to do like a starship as well. Anyway, so we've got all this stuff in orbit. First thing I do want to do is I want to try and get this. We are coming up at 9 o'clock. Maybe I could start doing some stuff. Just keeping in mind that we do have Kerbal to Eve, but then again we can like. I'm thinking at the moment if we just do like 1 or 2 launches, maybe like a single launch to Eve with satellites. We should try it on stream right now. Well, that's like part of the reason why like I'm doing science mode instead of like career is because I want to like at some point like once I've you know like got most territory, I want to like just decide to do stupid like crazy stuff like that. Like, you know, build something. I mean, maybe we can go to the VAB and I can give you an idea of or the space plane hangar and give you an idea of what I'm talking about in terms of building like something that would break in half. We got to take a few minutes. Yeah, I could do that. We can continue with the Moho stuff. Well, Sam, I'm playing on science mode, so this is a sandbox. Or I just make something that doesn't have Kerbals in it and just detach it on the just fly it remotely. Like I won't have time to like do something now, but I can give you like an idea of what I'm talking about in terms of having a ship that breaks into two pieces. Let's do that, just for a bit of fun. So doing the space plane hangar, because it's probably gonna be easier to build like something looking like a Star Wars ship in the space plane hangar rather than the vehicle assembly building, because you end up you have the mirror symmetry rather than like just go in here for a minute. Fortunately, like, game time doesn't actually elapse when you're in the vehicle assembly building or space plane hangar. Because I've got most of the stock parts unlocked here, so I can give you an idea. I'll start with that. It'll be easier. So this could be like a cockpit. Or the fuel tanks. I'd say you'll have to ignore a bunch of these are modded parts, but I'll try and use what I remember being in stock. So like that's in stock. So I mean, this can be like the front of your ship. Again, it's nothing too fancy. This will just be a demonstration of the breaking into concept. Where have we got? Again, you've basically built something like this but bigger. Yeah. Mirror symmetry. Something like this. Make sure they're lined up. Like so. Then you would get decouplers. So you grab like probably TD12s. Go like TD12 for there. Maybe TD18 is a bit big. Yeah, let's get TD12 for the middle. Let's turn that off, so we're just attaching the one. You'd have these in the same stage essentially. You could then duplicate this entire thing, stick it on the back. Get rid of these though, so we're not duplicating that. Oh, nope, not that one. That was a mistake. Right. Yeah, so turned off mirror symmetry. Right, so like so, have them roughly lined up. Like science mode is a sandbox when you've unlocked the parts. So we have those. Right, we don't necessarily want these because we just want the back half to break off. So with that one and these two, again, we want these all in the same stage because we want the back one to actually like break away. We'll go back to the fuel tanks. Grab a. Yeah, we don't have reverts on this thing, but then again, we don't have money either, so it's not that much of an issue. So these should all be stock parts, but essentially you could use like the bigger parts to make this a bit more fun. You'd have like your engines on the back. We're not actually going to be flying this thing anywhere, but actually let's stick some vectors. What we will do actually, we'll grab this. We'll put a. I think we have it unlocked now. We have the drone core, so we can have any Kerbals on it when it goes. Because this one's going to be. Yeah. And then we have this. Like we have to do two. This is like a proof of concept. So. Again, I think Separatrons are available in the base game. I might be wrong, but you could basically stick like a whole load of these on, like so. These are all the same stage. These end up in the same stage. Like so, and then just because this is a proof of concept, we can use this. We can use the launch clamps just to hold this thing in place, just to kind of demonstrate what we're doing. So like that. Have some to hold the back, and then we're going to be staging this a bit weirdly because we're not actually going to be going anywhere with these. Actually, can we remove these from staging? I don't think we can actually, can we? No, we can't. Create a new stage. Let's stick these in here because we're not actually going to be turning these engines on. Yeah, let's turn the engines on first of all. Then we want the back ones in there. Actually, we want the back ones to go at the same time as these, and we don't. And then so staging. So like we don't actually want these to go. We want all these to go at the same time, just so we can have the back of the ship breaking off as you set, as you want, which will then hopefully explode horrendously. Cool. So this is going to be our demonstration, our proof of concept. So we're going to make sure there aren't any Kerbals in this when we do this, because this is just a destruction testbed. Call this half a ship. And I might adapt this and don't understand stages fully either. So essentially, the basic principle about staging a rocket is that empty fuel tanks have mass. When you've expended the fuel in a fuel tank, you don't really want to be like dragging that mass up with you into orbit. So the idea is that once your fuel tanks have expended, you can staging. The idea is that you basically like get rid of the empty fuel tanks after you're done with them. That's the idea behind staging. So when you have like the Saturn V, you have like the big ass rockets on the bottom. They go off for like however many minutes. And then once the tanks those engines and tanks are expended, once they're done, you don't need them anymore. Like staging, you basically like break them off the back of the rocket. And then you have like your next stage, which is another set of engines and fuel, which is already like it's lighter, it's already traveling at a speed, and so it's basically like it's more efficient basically, is the idea behind staging. So I mean, in this example we have engines overheat. Huh. I'm not sure why engines would overheat. I mean, like on Kerbal, that's like standard engines, unless you're. I feel like I have to look at I have to sort of like see a screenshot of your design to sort of figure out why that would be. But anyway, so basically this is essentially a two-stage design. So this the entire thing is the first stage, and then the front bit is the second stage. So this back end would break off, and then ideally, like if it was an actual like multi-stage thing, this front bit would have its own set of engines, which would then fire up after this back bit broke off. But because we're not doing that today, we're just doing a flying half a ship. We're just going to have this thing on the runway, and it's just going to drop the back end, and it's probably going to explode. Yeah, once we're done with this, I will be yeah. Engines overheating is weird. I mean, like unless the engines are like pointing to something, like pointing at something, and that thing is overheating. Haha, this back one is a bit wobbly. I forgot to strut it. Oh, well, I mean, it's still going to work for our purposes. Actually, it probably won't work for our purposes, but I can't revert because we don't have reverts in this game save. So this is our thing. So in theory. If we do the first stage, just stage our engines, and then we can we can bring these engines up. We're not going anywhere because these launch clamps are holding us where we are. But in theory, if we hit the stage button now, the back half of the ship will fall off, and we'll go flying backwards. Okay, not as far as I was expecting, but there you go. So that is now half a ship. So that would be the general idea. Is so you build something similar to this, but I guess bigger because you want like the full on, you want the full on Star Wars Episode 3. You want the full on Star Wars like Episode 3 General Grievous cruiser idea. But then you basically put a whole load of decouplers in the middle of it. Strut it as necessary, and then when you want it to break in half, you have them all those decouplers in the same stage. You hit the stage, and then like the back half of the thing will just break away. And then like if you can find grip pads, then maybe putting a whole load of grip pads on the bottom of the ship, it might survive an impact to the Mun. Like might. Maybe like wrap the command module in an extra layer or something. I don't know. I haven't like thought much of how to design something to intentionally crash into the Mun with the Kerbal surviving. I've generally tried to land on it softly. Anyway, we will recover this because that was a useful experiment. What happens when you're flying half a ship? But yeah, but I might take half a ship. I might try and put it into orbit and then do that stage on the way back down. Maybe even try and get it to land survivably. But yeah, it's gone 9 o'clock now, so I will be ending this stream here. But thank you very much for joining me, Jamie W987, and thank you for the follow. I have a Discord account, but I don't have a Discord. But maybe I can maybe I can send you a friend link or something. I guess can you do friend request by link? I guess you can whisper. I guess you can whisper to me in I say if you whisper it to me in on Twitch, then I'll try adding you. And then if you want to send me any designs, I could try and give you my opinion on them. I do have a job, so Darth Bane. That sounds familiar. I'll try. Hang on. Nope, that is not. Hold on. Give me a second. Hey, copying things out of this Twitch chat. I'm too used to using the Mac commands. Let's try this out. Okay, I've sent you a friend request. Anyway, right. I've sent you a friend request, so hopefully you'll get that. Yeah, no, go away, Cortana. But yeah, anyway, so that will be. Before I forget, we'll save the game and quit back to the main menu because I think we've completed what we wanted to complete this session. All right, so I'm happy to check out another Discord. I'm a member of quite a few Discord servers, so I do sometimes tend to sort of trim them down every so often. So I can't promise I'll stick around, but I'll check it out, sure. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Jamie W987, and anyone else who's been watching. The next stream was planned for Thursday. I don't think there's any reason why I don't think I'm busy on Thursday, so it should be going ahead. But yeah, so hope you've enjoyed watching. And again, obviously I have a job and stuff. But if I am around, if you want to send me if you send me any ship designs, I can try and provide my quote unquote expertise. I'm not going to claim to be an expert at KSP, but I do have a few hundred hours in the game, so hopefully I can provide some advice. But yeah, so I'm gonna call the stream now. But thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, hopefully see you people on Thursday. Cheerio.